everybody. I think we are live. We are live again to spread some, word of knowledge. So today we are going to talk about student life, the mistakes students commit while choosing their career wisely, and also how do you keep your learning on the go while you are on job and while you are working from home, studying from home, and all that sort. So we have an expert from industry with us today who will give you the mentor talk. And whatever questions you have related with that in your mind, you can ask on the go, and we will try to address the most of the questions from you, because I'm expecting there will be a lot of questions, because this is one hot topic everybody is thinking these days, that how should I skill up myself, how do I keep learning on the go, how should I not restrict myself to one job or one career option, and I should be multidimensional all the way. So, to talk about all these things, I have Akhil Nair with me. He was my senior in the college, but after that, he has achieved a lot in his life. He has been through and done, a lot of roles in the 7 years of his career span. He has been a communication coach, training lead, and now he is serving as operations manager. So, without much ado, I would like to put him on the stream, and we'll get started. Welcome to the show. Yes.
Hi Nikita. Hi everyone.
Yes. So, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, about your career, what are you doing right now, about your job, so everybody is aware?
Well, I think you've already gone back and introduced myself, to the audience pretty well. So yeah, my name is Akhil. As Nikita said, a part of the St. Aloysius Institute of Technology. Done my electrical and electronics engineering from there, bachelor's. Moved out. I mean, one of those career aspirants who wanted to go back and start working immediately the moment his engineering was over. Nobody to guide. So yeah, jumped in, took the bait. Here I am after 7 years, right now working as an assistant manager operations with one of the leading IT companies in the world. So yeah, doing pretty well. And I'm here to kind of help you out, take your questions. Let's see if let's have an interesting conversation altogether, and see if the discussion can be a value add in terms of you choosing the career, the guidance which probably we missed out on getting, if we are able to kind of impart that to you.
Absolutely, this will be for sure a complete value addition to people, because I know a lot of students now reach out to me and they ask such queries. Like, we have a lot of bombarded with a lot of information on the internet these days, also a lot of designations, but what is right for you to choose something in that way is really difficult. And it is also very crucial because this decides your career. So, having said that, the topic for today's discussion is learning, education on job, or learning on the go. What do we mean by that, and why do you think it's important to realize?
So I think something which we all need to understand here is that I would not say all, but a lot of people, a lot of fresh engineers. I mean, specifically from places like the city, the smaller cities or smaller audiences, wherein there is a lack of vocational training or a lack of proper guidance, I should say. Right? What happens is India right now is producing a good number of engineers every year per batch, and what I feel is that most of those engineers or most of those graduates, I would not let's not restrict them to engineers only. If I say graduates, most of us seem to be taking up a course, studying that, finishing that, only in order to get a job. So our aim of taking up a course, studying for a particular stream, or studying for uh, studying in a particular college, is only to get jobs. You've got to ensure that you get a job, you get a good package, you're able to support yourself and your family in the long run, and that's about it. Laying stress on education at work is pretty important, because that is something which you tend to realize once you actually spend a lot of time in the industry as a working professional. Because it so happens that once you are going back and giving yourself a heads up that, hey, you know what, Now I secured a job, or if you're putting it in your mind that now that I've got a job, I don't need to do anything else. I can relax. I can go about doing my daily 9 hours task and go back home, and that's about it. Okay. People who move out of their homes, into a different city altogether, they tend to go back and, hey, you know what? Rest of the time which I have, I can go back and party with my friends or enjoy my life the way I've never been able to enjoy in my own city. That's about it. I'm not taking anybody else's example. I was probably one of them. When I came out of the city, I got freedom. I had my own way of working. I had my own way on own shifts. But then somewhere, some around, I kind of could figure out that, hey, I'm losing out on something, because I could see a lot of people progressing who started at the same level and progressing pretty fast. And it left me wondering as to what exactly it was. That's when in the first company which I was working with, that was Genpact, I came across something known as education at work. And that's how, and reluctantly enough, I went ahead and did that particular course, because at the end of the day, again, there is something known as society pressure as well when you kind of are working individual. And again, when you are sitting amongst a set of people and you discuss your degrees, and when you see that you only have a bachelor's degree, wherein the people who are talking to you are talking in terms of many things, many degrees which you might not even have heard of. Yeah, it generally puts a question mark. And I'm a pretty curious person. I kind of jumped into education at work just to try it out as to what exactly it is. The first one was, of course, a failure, but then I think by and by I could kind of have a sense of what was happening, and I could do well, pretty well. So that's about it. It's more of building, improving, or kind of putting your career on a fast track and moving forward. That's what education at work helps you with.
Okay. So, what is your thought on basically restricting ourselves to one particular domain or being stubborn about the technology we like? So, do you think these kind of people can survive looking at today's generation and the work and the technology, the way it is moving these days?
Good question, Nikita. I should say I would actually change the word survival from there. It's more of exist. Yeah, everyone would actually go back and exist no matter what. It's our job, and we will do everything in our interest to go back and ensure that we don't mess that up. Okay. I must say a good percentage of people are trying to do that. So imagine if we all are working. First of all, we should be thankful for the fact that we are still in our in our working pants. I think the pandemic has taken the best out of a lot of people, I must say. And yes, the another thing, if you are not industry ready, being industry ready is something which I have given a talk in the past as well, that industry is an ever changing or a very very dynamic topic. Okay. So what is required today is not the requirement in the market tomorrow. It practically changes overnight. And I have seen that happening. I am one person who has seen that happening very drastically. And during my training days, I have seen that people are struggling with it. Why? Let me give a very, very fair example. Okay. The time when we joined the college, 2009 is when we kind of, got into the college. And at that point in time, the requirement was for civil engineering and ECE, electrical and electronics engineering. Okay. After the first and the second batch passed out, the paradigm completely changed. While the electronics remained one of the hot topics, or I must say hot branches, but there are other branches which came in. IT started kind of improving and taking a front forum. New tools started coming in: Agile, Hadoop, Big Data. All these things, I must say, these terminologies I heard after moving out of college. Okay. So, and I practically saw people who were working. So I initially started my career in a call center. Okay. As a calling executive. And I could see a lot of people actually struggling. I could see a lot of people actually going back and upskilling themselves on these things, and actually going great lengths in their career, and which I'm appreciative of. And I think, despite being juniors to me, despite having a lesser work experience than me, probably they showed me a better path, or they kind of set an example in terms of how, if you adapt to the changes, you will be able to manage the change better or manage the scenario better. So it's all about managing the stage, right?
I just cannot believe that you started your career with call center, as you mentioned. But today you have just, it's been a ride, right? Communications coach, then accent and, language and accent certified, then also this trainer thing, and also, now you are operations manager. It's a variety of paths. So I would like to cover this in a separate session because this is a worth knowing story. So
Sure.
now moving back to the next question. This is very important to address, and I think a lot of students have joined us in today's call. So it's very important for them too. They are in the
Certainly.
stage, right? They are in the stage of this college placements. Also, they are struggling with this job market. So everybody has this thing in mind that I want a job, right? That is what,
Hmm.
that's a general tendency if we talk about, right? All they need is job. But
Right.
how later it impacts them, and how they should think about more, they should think more in a perspective of making a career rather than just getting a job.
Correct. See, what happens is, getting a job is important, to be honest, especially as I said, right? The stream which most of the people are working out of or getting, trying to get their employment from, when let's say engineering, right? There is a set of requirements, as I said, right? There is a huge market strain over there. The employability is pretty less. We have to develop some skills, at least the soft skills bit, to kind of be employed or get yourself kind of an employment. But then the real struggle actually starts once you're done getting a job. So the struggle here is that if you are not upskilling yourself and if you're not kind of changing yourself as per the dynamics of the market, you tend to lose on things. Okay. So when you are looking at a career progression, when you're looking at a career change. So for me, I worked in three companies, and in the three companies I worked in three entirely different domains, completely different domains. They had no relation to each other. Okay. So if I have not been upskilling myself into those particular requirements of that particular role, what happens is I don't get that opportunity, plain and simple. There would always be somebody better than you waiting for that opportunity to fall. The biggest problem with corporates is that here you're not kind of going back and fighting or struggling against a group of students. We have professionals who might have more experience than you, professionals who are at a higher what do you call it age group than you, professionals who have been in this industry for quite a long time, but again it's stagnant due to xyz reasons, right? Reasons can be many why you're stagnant. Number one, not choosing your not kind of giving importance to growth at any point in time. Let's say they are restricting themselves to kind of ensuring that the job is handy with them, or let's say they're learning something. Learning takes time. So we'll be meeting a lot of individuals and a lot of type of individuals, to be honest. So what happens over here is that if you're not able to kind of survive and adapt to the changes, the first, and I think that one thing is the guru mantra, which is change is always constant. You cannot give up on that particular part. And the second thing, and the most important thing, is that you should never ever give up on the change, right? Don't be afraid of embracing that particular change. It's always a challenge, right? You either got to be a challenger or you will be a survivor. Okay. You either have to challenge yourself, you have to challenge the odds, and you have to emerge a winner, or else you can thrive. You can try living the way and do a grind 9 to 5 job. That's what it is.
Absolutely agree with you. Change is like, a part of your life. If we just be stubborn of what we know and we just don't want to know anything else, then then it becomes really difficult. We should be
Yeah,
flexible with
because
our mind.
correct. And at one point in time, I feel somewhere you yourself choose to lose interest in doing something, right? uh, I mean, let's be honest over here. What is the attention span of a person, a normal person? I don't think they would be okay to kind of spend doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? There are some people who like doing that, to be honest. Some people who are very comfortable in their own shell, on own sphere. They're very comfortable in whatever they want to do. They are comfortable in their 9 to 5, a normal this thing. They are living paycheck to paycheck. Everything is going fine. They're getting their salaries paid on time. They are paying their rents on time. Things are going fine. But when reality kicks in after some point in time, right, when you actually move in your career, when it's 5 or 6 years into your career, when you actually have to take control and command, okay, that's when things take a very, very bad turn. What happens is, what we have been very comfortable in our cocoon for the past 5 years, we end up being at the receiving end. You end up being at the other end of the table when you actually have to go above and beyond your comfort zone, right, and start commanding people who are similar to what you were at one point in time. And that's where things take a wrong turn, because the moment you see somebody who's comfortable in, or who's just in their own comfort zone, working at their own pace, you feel irritated. And that's when you realize what was the mistake that you made at that point in time, right? When you become the judge, that's when things take a wrong turn. And that's why these skills are important, because when you become a leader, when you actually put in a leadership role, when you actually have to lead a team of folks, that's when you come to know your mistakes. Because when your boss used to kind of go back and kind of ask you questions, or pose you at a place wherein you were at the answering front, you would not like it. But then at one point in time, or one given day, you become the boss and you ask your employees the same question. That's when that clock takes that full rotation, and comes back to where it was. So that's where you actually struggle.
Absolutely agree. Agree. Because we just want to see people flexible, moving with things as time goes. But when it comes to us, we give ourselves, enough courage. Okay, I'm not doing this. I'm not comfortable. I know we give ourselves too much space. All
And I
right.
think, to add to what you said, Nikita, let me take an example of not long ago, right? This whole online thingy came up in the past 1 year, or I would not even say 1 year. Let's take it 13 or 14 months, right? Your education, complete education turned online. Your tests, your exams turned online. Your interaction with people turned online. Your training sessions turned online. You are completely remote to whatever is happening due to the outside worlds. If a person, okay, so now I talk about change over here. The teachers, the people who were working with chalks and whiteboard markers shifted completely onto Zoom and Teams and other coaching aids, right? We individuals who were working with WhatsApp, or meeting people every weekends, or being on party, or being in a group setup, we moved to our own homes, confined to our own homes, and talking over Zoom, or let's say WhatsApp, or whatever your online things are. I feel that is one thing which is important. Change. We did embrace these changes. Why? Because finally it came to us, or it kind of came on to us, that you have no other option than embracing this change. Okay, it was imposed onto us that you have no other option. Why not make it into a general practice in terms of your career? Why not going out of the terms, at least by saying that, hey, you know what, let me give it a try, let's see what this is all about. Voice and accent for me was completely new, right? I had no clue what a voice and accent training would be. And trust me, 5 weeks of training, I never knew language has so much of technicality. Your basic speech, your talking has so much of technicality. I was completely oblivious of that fact. From a call center environment, moving to a training environment, again, when I started training, I was in the call center environment. Again, I was in the BPO environment. Then I moved into tech within the same. Then I moved into completely a different domain, when I was handling all sort of training. And that's where I started training people remotely, because my clients were scattered around the country and around the globe. So when I would take trainings, I would actually take trainings online. So what people had been doing now, I was already doing it around 4 years back, taking online trainings, taking sessions remotely over a video conference and all those things. For me, if in today's scenario, if somebody asked me to take a training online, for me, I would be okay with it. Why? Because I practiced it, or I got an opportunity to do this in the past. But for somebody who is doing it today, all of a sudden, one fine day, hey, you know what? Start taking your classes online. That's about it. Start taking your tests online. a lot of people have actually gone back and broken all chains and actually made that happen. And I'm really happy and I feel really proud when people actually go back and do it. I have teachers in my own family. I have teachers in my aunts are teachers who have actually gone back, and I've actually seen them struggling in the initial bit, but they did overcome all those particular things and they actually proved that, hey, you know what, this can be done. So it's all about embracing the change. Unfortunately, this time it was forced upon. What we need to do is just actually go and do it by our own free will. I think that would help a lot.
This is so insightful. I was like, yes, I completely agree with you. So, going back again, next up, the thing is, when we talk about the dynamics of a market, okay, so be it education, be it technology, or be it anything. So
Mhm.
constantly things are changing, right? If we talk about 5 years back, maybe electronics and communication was on high, not 10, no, 5, not 10 years back. So electronics and communication was one branch everybody wanted to study, okay, in terms
Mhm.
of engineering. But today, it's computer science rocking the student market. So
Correct.
things are changing unbelievably. So what do you have to say about that trend and change?
See, that is something which is inevitable, right? If let's say 1 year electronics and communication is in boom, right? Everybody takes EC, graduates, fills those jobs. Now there will obviously be a pull in the other segments of the market. They will always go back and have that particular thing. Hey, you know what? I need to fill the other set of markets as well. And that is something inevitable, and that happens. Earlier, we had a lot of crunch in people actually taking science. We had a lot of people who were, we had a lot of crunch when it came to CAs or when it came to other, job roles. But then we did, after some point in time, we did happen to cover that. Why? Because we engineers are such a good breed that we can adapt ourselves to everything, right? As I said, right, from a call center employee to he can be a CA, he can be anything. You ask, you have engineers over there, right? So yeah, I mean, probably it's something which is very important, not only in terms of you know. And I think over the past few years, one thing which has really helped us in understanding the career path is that not to stick to one particular role. Engineering was at a boom, let's say 4 years back. Now we see people are struggling to, kind of fill the seats in engineering. We see that colleges like Delhi University, wherein not only engineering, but people are taking subjects like humanities, arts is on a rise. Why is that happening? Because people like you as well, right, Nikita? When you start a YouTube channel, a lot of learning goes into it, a lot of what should I say, research goes into it, and there are some people who want to take it professionally. We have a lot of YouTubers who are professional and have been doing this for years now. Their the way they have maintained their channels, their fan following or their followership, their viewership, you need to actually work hard to get that particular kind of growth. And that too in a place, online market is an online world is something which is easily accessible. I can find like a zillion uh, YouTube channels with zero videos in them. I can go back and choose a 500 channel base, or I can just go back and choose 500 channels and realize that they make videos practically every day. I see status like coming from you that, hey, you know what, I have a discussion on this today, I have a discussion with this person today. It takes a lot of time and effort, right? When people are, you have to actually go source people, talk to them, do a pre-session, come back, put that into, frame that whole thing, see how it is going to be executed, get the audience. It takes time, and there are a lot of things to learn also in that, as a career and as a career option. So yes, that will always happen, and that's pretty dynamic, and that's what is all about. I mean, that's what change is all about, right?
Right. So when we talk about change, we also know that students they become monotonous with what their syllabus says. So what do you have to suggest them? Like what should be their direction and path to just cope up with the change with the industry market standards apart from their syllabus? Some people are just focused on what my book says.
Let me ask you a question. Let me kind of turn this question around to you. Okay, let me ask you a question. BME, basic mechanical engineering, first semester or second semester, whatever time you kind of learned. How good to use you're putting it? I'm only talking about the book
Mhm.
in your current work, or let's say whatever you're working right now. How good are you putting it to use?
Actually, nothing, right? You have my answer?
Uh, Basic electronics. Now you are from the EC branch, right? Basic electronics. What are you putting it to use?
I am working in IT. I chose completely different stream.
I worked in electrical. I joined a call center. Okay. I for some time I felt that whatever I did for 4 years was futile. I could easily get done with my class 12th and join the call center, right? But honestly speaking, books do help. Let's say bookish knowledge or theoretical knowledge gives you a base. See, it's all about interest, right? How about a novel? You've seen people going crazy behind the Harry Potter novels. We call them Potterheads, right? And people actually go back and have they are such a diehard fan. And I'm talking about not young chaps. I'm talking about professionals. In my own office, I have people who are Potterheads who still follow these characters, and they have their Justice League when the Snyder's cut came in lately, which is the director's cut. People who are excited about it, and how is it coming from? Where is it coming from? People have actually looked at something with interest. Novels, we take it with interest. A movie comes up of that novel. Twilight is one, right? When the Twilight Saga, the movie came in, people were berserk about it. They were like, okay, you know what? There's something on the novel. Let me see that in the movie. Let's see how it works out. People actually spent their time in researching the difference between what was shown in the movie and what was in the book, right? So people, it's about the dedication, folks, right? If today you go back and look at your books just as a method to kind of gain grades, it's not going to help you. Yeah, at the same time, if you are actually looking at gaining experience from it, moving forward and trying to apply those things later on in an interesting way in your life, makes more sense, right? I
Exactly.
think while studying, I actually laid hands on Shivani, the guides more than actually laying stress on, laying hands on my textbook. Guys, just
For
give me
those
1 second.
who,
I'll have to leave the stream. Just 1 second, okay?
yes.
I'm so sorry. The light around my place was not great. So yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. We already have one question, which would you like to
Things are
address?
changing. Yeah, sure. Things are changing continuously, and we have to select a stream and even specialize at the very beginning of our college life. So, how do we go for it? Uh, Kshitij, thanks for this question, and I think something which is fairly important as well. See, specialization is something when when you say specialize, you cannot specialize in 4 years. Let me be honest, and or 3 years for that matter. Specialization comes from actually putting your knowledge into use. You actually do that in real life, and that's when you specialize in something. Like I specialize in voice and accent. Voice and accent was never taught to me in the past, right? So when you so there are three things which you actually need to lay stress on. First thing is your what's your market demand. Second thing, is that stream of your interest or no? And the third thing, what or how is it going to help you in the future? Okay, three things which you need to really focus on. The first thing is stream of your choice. A person who has done science and learned electronics in the past, let's say, I'm just taking an example, it might or might not kind of be in lines with what you were saying. Just try to understand or just try to gain the essence of what I'm trying to say over here. Like if you say that electronics is your choice or let's say your stream of interest, you feel that you like electronics, you want to work ahead in electronics, right? You choose that stream, do a bit of background research. Now, background should research should not be confined to just 1 year of your college or 3 years of your college or 4 years of your college. I'm talking about once you're out of college, how is that particular subject going to help you? That's what is something which you should be looking at. Okay, you got to ensure that we are not missing out on anything by choosing a stream, gaining employment in that particular stream, and then chucking yourself out of it and then slogging for no reason. If you don't have interest about a stream, don't take it. Plain and simple. Do a lot of research when you're taking a stream. First thing, right? So to
Correct.
specialize, you have to have interest. You should have the ownership of whatever stream you have taken. You should know, what you are trying to do, or what is it that you are going to planning to achieve out of this. And when that works out, or obviously the choosing the stream makes more sense. And of course, you should have a clear idea, right? You don't go back. You If you are in the commerce stream, let's say in school, you are in the commerce stream. You don't risk yourself taking science until and unless you're very good at it. So that's how it is. I mean, your career life, you have to choose a stream in your career. You actually have to start working ever since class 10th. Whatever you make out of yourself after class 10th, 11th, 12th, that's when your stream is decided. And once that stream is chosen and once that stream is all set, and that's how you move forward, Kshitij. I hope that answers. If you need any clarification, you can kind of go back and pose the question again. We'll be more than happy to connect and discuss that further.
Awesome. Thanks, Kshitish, for your question. Kshitish is a very brainy, smart guy. I know
Oh,
he's
yeah.
very young, yeah, but he's already, running a YouTube channel, and they
Oh,
have,
nice.
combined group of guys, young guys, and they have started a company as well. Dot
Oh,
question
nice.
mark. Incredible these guys are doing.
I
Seriously.
mean, yeah, you talk about going out of your way and doing things right. Good job, Kshitij,
Yes.
and it's great to know that young minds like you are actually putting efforts in bringing the world together. Good job.
Yeah. And to me, when you said, right, that be wise in choosing your stream, choosing a subject while you are, trying to do something. When I was that teenager, first of all, I did not know. All I knew is because everybody says science is nice, I have to choose science. Okay, because only toppers make it to maths and everything. That's why I will make it. Right, because this is general mindset. Because it is good according to the society, I will go for that. We just don't pay attention to our interest, our inner voice. What do you have to say about that?
See, I think that's unfortunately that is something the way the society has made this whole scenario. Right? We are under a lot of peer pressure. Honestly, the pressure. When I say peer pressure, we are not only talking about what you're see from a very young age. And the best part is that and I must say, if I have to blame something over here, I will say what we should be blaming is our communication with our parents, right? Making or going back and making a statement about your own career is something which you should do. I have not done it in the past, to be honest, right? Somewhere around, yes, I did. I do feel I would not say guilty. I would not say I did make a different career choice or my choice would have been different. But I've seen many scenarios or many places wherein people are at a difficult spot because they did not communicate. Maybe with your seniors, maybe with your parents. When you communicate with them, okay, this is what I'm interested in, or this is what I feel that I should be able to do, and the parents at the same time go back and understand that particular thing as to where exactly is it coming from. Why is my ward saying that he wants to go and go into this particular career path, right? Have a discussion at length with them, come at a conscience, and then go back and take a stream, rather than looking at what the guy who stays right next to you is has taken up as a stream, or thinking that only science is for elites and commerce is for people who are hooligans. No, that's not right. I mean, I have lived in that particular frame of mind. I have lived in that frame of mind for a while, but then my best of my friends are in the commerce stream, right? Best of my friends, and we have been in touch. We have we have shared our experiences, and again, uh, the avenues which they have chosen as well are like completely, kind of which you would not even expect somebody to go back and do, right? So that is something which is mostly with the society, how society is perceiving, how society has been guiding you. So here it's not guidance, it's about comparison. And guidance and comparison are, two different spectrums of things. You put pressure on somebody to go back and take a stream. Why? Because somebody in your family or your cousins have taken the same stream, or the neighbors have taken this particular thing, or few years ago a child of your neighbors actually got a gold medal in science, and you want, I mean, that is something which is you are selfish about, right? If you are, uh, you want your ward to go back and replicate the same thing which somebody else did. The reason why I'm using what, it's not only parents. It can even be your elder brothers and sisters who say that, hey, you know what? I am a gold medalist in science, and I want you to be a gold medalist in science as well. What if that guy actually wants to go and make his career in commerce or something else? How do you know? How can you go back and do that? I mean, that's wrong. And I should say the reason why that happens is because of the pressure which we are in. I think that is changing now, and it's a very welcoming change. I think for the past few years, I've seen lesser and lesser of that particular thing. I've seen people working in, completely non, I must say, not so traditional jobs, and I think they're doing really good. And people have been supporting and supportive now, and that's a very welcome and that's a very good change, to be honest.
I first of all did not think we'll go that route and talk about such things, but this is getting really interesting and real. I know most of the people that have joined us will be able to relate with that, because at some point in time, for some or the other thing, we face such challenges, with basically the Indian society and the mindsets and everything. Um,
See,
so
I would not actually go back and completely shun them. Okay, at the same time, see, again, there are positives in everything. Uh, See, at the end of the day, look at what you have been 6 or 7 years back. I've the last time I finished my college in 2013. Okay, and probably I took the stream in 2007 is when I actually went back and chose my stream and moved forward with it. A lot of people have taken science for the sake of it. They could not do it. Things happened, or let's say, things did not work in their favor. People go back and come up with a reason as to X, Y, Z. Reason can be the fact that I could not succeed or whatever it is. But then it actually also gives you a perspective to life, because 12th is not the time when you choose your career. After 12th, is when you actually get into the vocational scope of your career. 11th and 12th is all about making a base. If that works for you, good. Doesn't work for you, it's okay. There are a lot of people who feel disappointed, and again, that's when the society pitches in again. Stop listening to negativity. There is something which Indian society needs to do now, and it needs to happen immediately, which is selective listening. You listen to what is beneficial for you and ignore the rest, especially the things which the comments which are made towards you. Others, we hardly have any kind of hold on that. If a comment is being made towards you, you got to be selective, or else you will waste a good amount of time relenting, feeling bad, feeling angry, and actually sitting and abusing that particular person. I'm talking real over here, and that's what happens. Okay, that's about it. Let's not make them. If something is not of a value add, let's not make it a discussion point at all. That's what life is all about.
exactly. And I think the only people you are answerable to for your choices is your parents, right? Why you choose that, if you are successful, if you are not. So I would say once you prove yourself and your diligence and aptitude towards certain things, I think at some point in time they just tend to trust you, your choices, and
Yes,
it just
yes,
comes with time. I have faced this
yes.
myself, like my real life.
Yes, because let me give a very interesting thing, right? And if I don't know if they are listening, or if you might have my parents as well, and are part of the live stream. But then
Okay.
a very strange thing happened, and I would be more than happy to share this. When I got my first job, the pay package which was given out, and it was an open campus. We kind of went again, first job, first batch of the college. We were sure that the pilot batch needs to actually prove its mettle for the coming generations or the coming batches to kind of have a base in terms of the companies coming to camp colleges and taking the you know picking up people from there. So yeah, first open campus, we went to Takshila, got hired and everything. The pay package was, I mean, the offer letter was given. I came to Delhi. I had an interesting discussion with one of my family members who were with my parents over the phone, stating that the salary which he is getting right now is actually lesser than what an average call center might be paying. This was the comment made out to my parents. Now, let me give you a background of my family. My family is only of three people: my dad, mom, and me. Right? I have never stepped out of home for until that day, or let's say until a week ago. So I've completely left home overnight to a city like Delhi, which is expensive, and everyone knows that. Came over here, and that family member says that, hey, you know what? This particular pay package is something which is even lesser than a very third grade call center in Delhi. Okay, fine. I agree. It was correct. But imagine that mental pressure which that might have put on my parents. See, my dad commented, absolutely, I'm listening, my son. So imagine the pressure that might have put on the parents. I mean, they should be testimonials to it. See, it took me a good 3 years, 3.5, 4 years, wherein I could actually go back and prove something which was told to me at that point in time. I within the second year, I could actually go back and prove that what that comment which was made was detrimental. It is not going to help you. It's not going to benefit you in any way, right? My career path is, if it is something, as you said, Nikita, you're answerable only to a very, very specific set of individuals in your life. I don't think anybody else should, you should hold them, even accountable into going back and answering to their queries. Your action and your growth will speak volumes. Sitting at a place right now, 7 years into my career, I can definitely go back and reflect at those questions, and I know, people do get answers from time to time, right? You don't have to go back and verbally answer them. Your answers, your actions, and your growth will actually speak volumes. But then for that, you have to have that in your mind. You can't just let things go, let things pass.
So apt. Also, I see a lot of questions, so we'll just try to address one of them first.
Yeah, yeah.
I am not a technical guy and I need to learn coding language like SQL, Python, etc. Could you share a suggestion on how to approach? He is asking just the approach, Ravi
Yeah,
Kiran.
Ravi, good question. Python is something which is on boom right now. SQL has always been, what do you call it, an evergreen subject. SQL is something which does help. Python is something which does help. Let me add two more things to you for you. One is Hadoop and one is big data. Boom right now. And I think I'm not sure how many times I've taken these two terms in the current session and the previous sessions as well. Why? Because I've seen the way people use those tools. They are very, very good tools. Now, how do you approach that? Do a bit of research. We have a lot of online courses. Take a plunge, go in there. See, what I would suggest is not to go back and put in all your efforts and put in a complete, effort into it. Take it as a dipstick, take it as a litmus test. Choose a course which is good, easy on your pocket, as well as easy on your time schedules. You have many courses. You have people taking courses on an academy. The best part is YouTube, which is a very, very powerful tool. People today are not actually understanding the value of the YouTube tool, for the fact that what do we use it for? Music and a couple of streams like this, a couple of favorite YouTubers. That's about it. Actually, go back, if you see and search, you get to learn a lot of things over here, and in all possible terms and things. I learned Excel. even like till today, if I see that we have or I face a difficulty with one or the other formulas, or if I want to see if I can run some a tool on it, I actually go back and refer to YouTube and get access from there. Similarly, you will have people who do give you basics of SQL, Python, Hadoop, big data. See, listen to them, see if it helps, and whether those things are actually going to help you out with it. And if it is helping you out, go for it. Take a plunge. It's okay to spend money on your own good and your own well-being. Put your money in there. Take up a good course, specifically from organizations like we have Narsi Monji, we have, which is the management institute, of course. We have other similar colleges who actually help you continuing school continuing school, and letting you study while you work, and at the same time give you remote education as well. Many universities do that. You can take up a short term course, long term course. That's completely up to you. You have a menu of things. Once you understand the criticality, once you see that okay, this thing is something which I'm looking for, it is going to help me, go for it.
Great. I'm sure Ravi has got his question answered and approach what basically he needs to do. So we'll answer. We'll just try to address the next questions later,
Yeah.
and I will proceed with my listed questions for now. So what do you think about the digital world and how it is affecting the job market? And having said that, how important is it to skill up every day and with new technologies coming? With the
I think
digital
I
work system.
Right. I think I have already shared the example. The teachers, the best example here, the teachers today. Right, teachers have been made to shift from the blackboards and the whiteboards overnight onto Zoom sessions and teaching tools. Now, what's happening over here is that if you don't skill up, so okay, that was the first question. How has it affected? We have lost the human touch, that is for sure. That does show in the work environment as well. People have become less connected in terms, because there are a lot of things which technology cannot carry on to the other side, right? Emotions are something which technology is still not able to carry on to the other side. That is something which is lacking, I must say. Let's say that is the only downside. But then overall, it's all pluses. We can connect to anybody anytime, may it be any corner of the world, may it be any individual, whatever channel is, you can contact those individuals. That's one good thing. How is it going to affect? How do you got to skill up? Number one, yes, you got to learn to change. So the problem here is not learning the skills, right? Technical competency or technical skills can be taught anytime, right? How to use a computer, how to use this tool. You sit with an expert for 10 to 15 minutes, you will be able to get a grip of that. How comfortable are you with using that tool? That is something which needs to be taught, and that is what takes time. So here, the first thing which I'd like to kind of go back and say is, number one, don't fear to embrace the change. Whatever change is coming your way, take it as a challenge rather than looking at it as a difficulty. You will have to, because nobody knew that this is going to happen, right? When so in the olden days, I still remember again my dad sharing a story, and it was a general practice to learn typing and shorthand. That was a general thing to do. A lot of people, I mean, a lot of youngsters would go back and do that, right? Why? Is it that they wanted to get into a particular line of job? I'm not sure. Not really. That is more to add a skill to your resume, or a skill to yourself, right? So typewriting and shorthand, does it benefit? Yes, it did. It does benefit after a certain point in time. Okay, or if you're going to choose your career in that particular way, right? So those things have to be taken in a positive sense. New skills have to be learned every now and then. As I said, right, I mean, that's the whole point of this particular session. Not to do something because you are in need of it, rather doing it proactively. Do it and keep. If you're already skilled, if you have extra skills, it's not going to hurt you. It's going to benefit you in the long run at the end of the day, right? If I'm good with computers, if I'm able to if I'm good with computer hardware, just because I studied electrical engineering and I'm good with computer hardware, but then I'm working in an IT industry wherein all I'm working is with software. At some point, there will be a point where actually, if even if somebody's computer stops working, you can go and help him out. It's a small thing, as simple as that, but then that works, right?
Right. So, on a generic note, if we talk about some institutes, universities, and the courses that you would like to suggest to people of any stream, what would that be? If they want to do some masters or do some specialization, anything.
See, I would not actually like to kind of name universities. I'm not going to endorse any university over here, to be honest. But there are many institutions which you can have a look at. I can give you a set of institutions wherein you can actually go and see if you have what it takes or what you require from them. Narsi Monji University, Narsi Monji School of Continued Education is one university which I have done my work at, education at work from. So I did my PGDM from there. So that one, you can go back and have a look at the management courses. You can actually, log into their website and see what exactly are the courses which they offer. We have one which is Vidyapeeth. Bharati Vidyapeeth is something which gives you again a continued education. We have Amity, which helps you out in similar fashions. We have IIMs and IITs who are coming into the play lately. They do partner with third-party agencies like Talent Edge and other things, and actually run short-term and long-term courses. In the tunes of actually getting an MBA from IIM or a practical engineering degree from IIM, right? The best part is you do actually have the full benefits. You become an IIM or an IIT alumni, and you actually have a complete stream of working. Some courses also assist you with placement assistance after your work. Your course is done. So let's say if you while you're working, you went over there, took a course and studied. After some time, you actually start getting job offers from people who are associated with the agency which you took the courses from. So that also is an added benefit, because in today's world, so people were earlier relying on to LinkedIn for jobs and job opportunities, but today that's also becoming like Naukri, because I myself happen to encounter a lot of people who have a lot of postings which are fake. Be really wary of the way people approach you, because once you give your resumes are and this is something which is very critical. Good that it came up. Just a warning: people are actually posing to be folks who are hiring, getting your resumes and using your resumes at wrong places. At wrong places means taking data information out of it, or using your resume format to benefit from it and help to form resumes. You have these resume writing services these days, so they are collecting resumes to have more and more formats. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that being one point. But then all I was coming to say is that it requires a lot of research, because see, I might be able to give you a guidance on the path which I have taken,
Hmm.
but I'm sure there are plethora of other branches which people are from who are listening to us, and they can choose. I mean, you have to what you should be looking at is continued education, right? Continued education is what you should be looking at. Continued education, you will get a lot of colleges, a lot of places where you actually can go back and look at this.
Okay, one question from my side on that.
Yeah.
Would you need to appear for any entrance exam? Is there any prereq, or what is that
There
like?
is no prereq. There's no prereq, but yeah. Now there are specialized skills. I mean, you have skills on, or you have courses on beginner, intermediate, and advanced level, right? So you're talking about intermediate and advanced level. Yes, there would be some prerequisites, like for the IIM course, which I did enroll myself into. It required you to be leading a team for a good amount of time, and they did a proper verbal interview of mine before admitting me to that particular course. But at the same time, if I talk about PGDM, which is the continued education bit, there was no interview as such. You could enroll, pay the fee, and be a part of it.
Right. So I think we have covered this set of questions in this answer. Could you share your suggestion on how to master these skills? I think we covered it pretty
I think
well.
we did it. So just to give a heads up to Ravi again, it's all about how much you utilize that on your day-to-day basis. You got to keep on working on it. I mean, it's just like the tables, right? You ask me what is 9 cross 16, I'll not be able to answer today. But if you would ask that to me around 15 years back, it will be on my fingertips. It's about how frequently you use something. So that's about it.
Exactly. One very interesting question coming up. I just love the question. What do you think is lagging in freshers these days? So apt and practical.
And Nilesh, the whole I think this question would actually sum up the whole session which we are in today. It is about three things which we lack right now. Number one, going out of your comfort zone, that is embracing change, understanding the change, and working in accordance to it. Number two, developing a new skill which is not traditional, right? And the third thing is actually taking that particular plunge. Soft skills is something which we really, really need to improve. And let me give you a fact in any industry, right? When we start, the first round of your interview is your language and soft skills interview. You might have a lot of skills. You might be a champ in what you're doing in today's in your work or in your education. But unfortunately, today's scenario is so that you need to have a good interpersonal skill to be hired. Companies these days are done with your mark sheets. They are done with your mark sheets. They need to know how well do you handle in pressure, how well do you handle pressure, how well do you work something in any given scenario. My me asking you, so me being a voice, so let me give you an example again. If I am a voice and accent coach and my boss wants me to work on Excel, that's not because he wants to worry me or he's playing with me. He wants me to improve those skills because Excel will actually showcase the work which I am doing in my voice and accent training. I have to report it out somewhere, right? So additional skills, understanding your skill sets. Okay. So if I am a voice and accent coach, I train my folks on voice and accent. Tomorrow, I need to do something known as TNA and TNI, training needs identification and training need analysis. I need to prepare an analysis report on it. What are the tools I have for that? I have to learn Excel. I have to learn Microsoft PowerPoint. I'm left with no choice, right? So those skills is so, and to do that, I should be open. I should be willing to do it. I should be willing to put in my time and my resources into it. And if I take the easy, try to take the easy way out, friend se banwa lunga, or I'll go back to my roommate who's very good in making PowerPoints. I'll get the PowerPoints made from him. That's not going to work out in today's scenario. That's not going to work out. That is change. Skills is something which you need to really develop. Interpersonal skills, guys. As I said, I would not say it is a mandatory skill, but in today's hiring scenario, yes, it is a mandatory skill. Right? For me, it is not mandate. I can still go back and train people. I can mold them. Soft skills is something which is trainable. Again, there are two things. One is an IQ and one is an EQ. Right? IQ can be taught. EQ is something which is already imbibed in you. You just need to bring it out. Hesitation, fear of people, talking in front of an audience, talking in front of a camera. A lot of people hesitate. We need to overcome those fears. And once those fears are taken care of, right, you can actually invest your time in going back and doing something constructive, learning new skill, and that is what will actually go back and help you with, improving your career. Freshers, yeah, don't worry about what will people think. अरे यार मैं कॉल सेंटर में ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ लोग क्या सोचेंगे या फिर मैं कॉल सेंटर में रहते अंडरस्टैंड कॉल सेंटर इज नॉट ओनली फॉर selling loans or selling products. The call center I was in was a credit card operations company. We were into hardcore credit card operations. We were into a banking firm. We were a finance firm. We had our own lending rules. We had our own rules and the SOPs which you would be working on. Right? It takes time to learn those particular things. If I would be using the bank's common software, I as an individual would be going through 5 weeks of hardcore training to understand what are the codes which I would be using to work on those credit cards. Right? I'm actually operating the credit card for you on your behalf over here. There are call centers of Boeing over here in this particular city, right? People on the call tell the other set of folks how to assemble an engine into a Boeing airplane. That's also a call center. Break the stereotypes, change the perception of the people, let people know that there is a world outside of their thinking box. So a call center is not a call center to sell chocolates or sell insurance or sell loans. That's one part of it.
Right.
India right now is the global leader in terms of outsourced manpower. Outsourced manpower is all about call centers, BPOs and KPOs. A BPO is, if I say that I work in a BPO, the company which I've been working in, that particular company, the call centers is only 8% of its total business. It's a BPO. Call center is only 8%. Rest they are into technology, lean digital, lean Six Sigma, all these things. You're again a part of a BPO. If you're growing up in the organization, you're climbing the ladder in your organization, right? You're getting into management, you are getting into people management, you're getting into HR, you're getting into uh, payroll. Like commerce folks get into payroll. You have to become a CA in a company. You have your legal team in the company. But yes, I'm working in a BPO. People don't think at it that way. I take the name of a company, and there would be somebody who knows about that company would say, "अच्छा ये तो BPO है, right? हाँ तो BPO है तो क्या हुआ यार? उसमें काम नहीं होते? अगर BPO में काम नहीं होता तो इतने सारे लोग काम कर रहे होते, इतने पैसे मिल रहे होते." I mean, question is to yourself, right? So stop paying heed to what people say is something which I would say. Yeah, take feedback from them, take positive feedback, take constructive criticism, but then yeah, limit selective listening, something which I repeated in the past as well, right? That is something which is very important.
Yes. I got one pickup from the whole conversation about this question. So when you say, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and all of that, so we just, today I have heard this, from many students that they don't even consider this a skill. Okay, I'm telling you honestly, they just don't consider Microsoft, PowerPoint, Excel, Word, or maybe the basis of Linux and everything. They just don't consider it a skill. This is a false perception, I would like to say, because whatever they see as part of their course or curriculum, they just think it's very ordinary and they don't like to master it as well. Any take on that?
Microsoft Office Suite and Power BI. Total training is worth 3 lakh rupees in the outside market. So if it is not a skill, I don't know. I think that should actually answer the volumes. Power BI, and if I am going to learn an entire MS Office suite that includes PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote, SharePoint, all these things, you actually have to share out 3 lakh rupees from your pocket to get an expert level certification in that. It's equivalent to learning big data. It's equivalent to learning, SQL. It is equivalent to learning other tools, right? And it requires a lot of time. Even in today's scenario, right? Not all would know how many type of screens on can you get on your normal Microsoft PowerPoint uh, thingy. I mean, the UI. There are different type of screens which you get on them, right? What the knowledge of PowerPoint which we people have is all about putting those GIF images, which when we do a press an F5, so our knowledge is that only, right? It starts dancing around. That's not PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a very, very, very critical tool, right? It A very good PowerPoint presentation can actually make or break a business. A PowerPoint presentation can practically go back and make and break a business. Your Word documents, all your documents that you're creating, it's on Word, right? There are legal aspects of it. There are technical aspects of it on which font to use when, what are the fonts. Like, okay, let's take it. It's not a skill. How many of you can go back and name out 15 names of 15 fonts, the name of the fonts? Right? People actually go back and identify fonts by names. I've seen people so skilled with PowerPoints and Microsoft Word, right? So it is a skill. I would completely differ when you say it's not a skill. Why? Anything you learn, anything you invest your time on, which is not something which you've learned in the past, which you're actually learning new, I would call it a skill. It is a skill.
Absolutely. And why I called it out? Because I have been a student. I know, understand the student mentality. They just consider the big high fundu technologies which are up in the market. According to them, this is the skill. That's what I should know. That's what I should work on. But whatever is at hand, they just don't want to look at that.
Let me
right?
give an example. Let me give an example. Okay. Almost on, if not 100%, 98% of the resumes in your skills, I mean, carry in the skills, PowerPoint and Excel, 110%. Freshers, fair, cool. Will you be able to answer the questions if the interviewer comes back and asks you those particular questions? I don't think so, right? A simple VLOOKUP formula can take. It took me 3 years to learn VLOOKUP formula until one of my colleagues taught an easy way out to me. So, I mean, it is. I mean, if somebody says it's not a skill, I would completely go back and disagree.
Even me, because I know how industries work, right?
It is
Even
hard.
Google
It is
Sheets.
hard. Yeah.
Google Sheets are so critical to the organization, right? Because a lot of analytics is being done on Google Sheets. You are a complete skillful person if you know Google Sheets and how the analytics is being done there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Google Sheet is just a replacement for your Microsoft this thing.
exactly. Yes, we have Google Suite, right? It's Google Suite.
Yeah.
That's it.
Google
Yeah,
Suite. Yeah.
G Suite. Next question coming up from Kshitij. How to face the audience? I'm unable to face the audience. It's more like soft skill, I think, right?
Yeah. Do it again and again, Kshitij. See, first time when I went onto stage, I would have also feel nervous. But when you do it repeatedly, right? When you do it again and again, that fear goes off. But the bigger question here remains that what is it that you fear? Is it the questions from them? Is it if they're looking at you, or everybody's, when you become the center of attention and everybody looks at you? If that is the problem, there's a different way of coping up with that. If you have a problem looking at your audience in the eyes, there is a different way of looking at it. If you are bothered about the comments, if they're bothered about, making sure that you have a good appearance, there is a different way. And to answer all these things, it's only, there's only one answer to it. Try doing it as much as you can. Face people, talk. Whatever is something which you feel that you struggle with, do it over and over again. Give it a shot. Try. It will work out. Trust me. Because Nikita knows, as a matter of fact, the number of PowerPoint presentations and the number of sessions which we have done in college. Right, every now and then we would be there every time. We even heard comments ki inke alawa koi hai nahi kya. So, I mean, that is something which is okay. It's a part and parcel of life, where people will never stay silent in whatever you are doing if you're worried about the opinions. If it is about your appearance, nobody cares about your appearance on stage, because if you are a person on stage, you have done something good, and that's why you deserve that place, right?
Absolutely. I'm with you.
And if you are going there to deliver something, or deliver a speech or something, you are a person of value, and that's why you are there to deliver that speech or deliver that session. If you are delivering a session, if you're trying to teach something to somebody, you are a subject matter expert, and that's the reason why you are on stage alone, right? So the people who are looking at you, people who are making comments at you, are probably commenting upon how he could do it. So let's take it as a positive thing and move on, Kshitij. Right? That's the only
Yes.
answer. Do it all over and over again.
One thing I just wanted to say, Kshitij, is like if you see a powerful host or a powerful communicator on stage, you just fall in awe of that person. Why? Because there's nothing more than confidence on stage, right? Be it you know a lot of things or you don't know a lot of things, but if you're able to express yourself on stage perfectly and you're just complete aura on stage, then you're good. I think it's the best thing you can do while you're addressing the public. What do you say?
That is right. But the problem, arises where, Nikita, I mean, to what you said, you did actually sum up what I was trying to say. Confidence, right? But how do you gain confidence in something?
Um,
You do the
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. How do you gain confidence is when we believe in ourselves and we just don't try to be conscious in our mind. Am I doing right? Am I doing wrong? Is it perfect? Like yeah, dikh raha hoon sahi, kind of stop judging yourself while you are there. You just need to be confident of what you are trying to show.
That's one point. Let me add another question to it. Okay. I'm not negating what you said, but I have a different opinion to it.
Okay.
You said that you are confident about your knowledge or something, right? That's what you said. you are through with what you learned. I am
Yes, and
confident.
even if
Hmm.
not, even if you're not, then you speak what you're confident about, just a little bare minimum for that instance of time. Because if you just try to question your mind is divided. Okay, so the confidence gets divided. That's basically, I feel that.
True. Okay. So let me have a different take on it. For the past 7, 8 months, I've been playing a particular game which involves flying an aircraft. I'm very good on the game. Can I be confident that I can fly a real aircraft?
No, this is a big deal.
Right. So it's more like doing the things again and again. That is something which I have always laid stress on. You have to actually practice. Practice things. Put Give good amount of time to practice. Spend a lot of time with yourself in terms of honing your skills. See, nobody knows you better than yourself. Nobody. तुम्हें पता है कि अगर आप स्टेज पे जा रहे हो तो व्हाट इज इट दैट यू आर फियरिंग स्टेज पे जाने में आपको क्या रोक रहा है व्हाट इज इट दैट यू विल सो आई मीन यू से राइट व्हेन यू इफ यू आर इन अ डायलेमा यू टॉस अ कॉइन and you will come to know what was the answer that you wanted to hear by yourself because the mind will keep on repeating the answer which it wants. In a similar fashion, nobody can answer the questions better than yourself about your shortcomings. And once you can answer those particular questions, you can easily go back and take the bite and work on it. And it's pretty easy, Kshitij. After a certain point in time, once, twice, or thrice, it becomes a piece of cake for most of the people.
Exactly, I would agree. Then preparation भी थोड़ा कम चाहिए होता है. First time it's like a lot of preparation. You are just being putting a lot of efforts. Then once you are through, you just try to be effortless and spontaneous what you are doing. Right?
And be you. Don't try to imitate somebody.
Yeah,
Like I have a favorite speaker and I'm trying to imitate that particular person. That doesn't work. That will never work. That will fail miserably.
100%. Okay. This question I think you have to figure out yourself, Ritesh.
Sir, audience is not there where to bring the audience from. That is the main question. Sell. I mean, take the help of. I mean, you guys are on social media, right? Make good use of it. How are you marketing yourself? Are you just trying to kind of going back and posting it on your own statuses? How are you actually letting it out to the market?
Yeah, most of the people
See,
do it like, posting out in their own status.
okay, let me give you a simple example, right? I right now I had this session. I got the invite link from Nikita. I posted it on my WhatsApp status. The only people who will be seeing it with me will be my colleagues, my parents, and my family members, right? And they did record their attendance over here as well. They did come back and they did kind of raise their hands on the questions as well. So the audience grows with collaboration, guys. So your audiences should not be limited to your known folks. Get collaborations, talk to more creators. If you are like I think Nikita, you said the Kshitij is a vlogger. He creates videos, right? He is a video
Yes,
creator.
he teaches C++. plus plus. Yeah.
Nice. So collaborate with more people. Collaborate with people who probably might be teaching something else, who have a better viewership. Let's say. I mean, there would any day be somebody who will have a better viewership, right? So go back and collaborate with them. So what will it do? It will increase his viewership as well as your viewership. He can teach something else. You can teach something else. That's how collaboration works, right? And that's how the word spreads. And then you have to ensure that the quality of delivery of your classes session, word of mouth is something which is very important. Word of mouth actually travels 26 times faster than anything else. Check for try getting that word of mouth, try getting that quality in terms of delivery, wherein people will actually start referring to your channel as something, right? Why do we run to Excel tips and tricks for learning Excel? Because they have been doing it a lot of time, and you need to give it time. It will not come overnight. Everything has its own time frame, right? There will be a lot of people who would actually take years and years to actually gather viewers. Right? Ask Nikita. Nikita, the subscribers which you have received or have on your channel right now. it has been a while that you have been
Mm-hmm.
gelling with them. There would be days when you would hardly have any viewers on your channel. There would be days when the gallery would be full,
Yes.
right? So it's something which is like a sine wave. It's not common. It's not constant, right? So yeah, you'll have to spend time, deliver quality, and collaborate as much as you can, because the word of mouth is something which actually needs to spread. Feedback is important, guys. In today's world, feedback is important, and that's something, because
Exactly.
you want to buy a product. What do you do on Amazon? You go straight down to what is written about the product, right? How many stars, what is the comment written, and that's how you buy that product. It's plain and simple. What are we trying to do over here? We are trying to sell our products, right? We are trying to sell our our skills over here, or a talent which we have. That's what we're doing, right?
Correct. And Kshitij just agrees with you. He just agrees with you.
All right.
All right. One more question. Python or Java? What
I
should I do
am
after C++?
I am completely handicapped on this question, Nilesh. I unfortunately am not from the IT stream. I so for me, C++, Java, and Python all look the same. So my learning would be as good as you. So probably I would suggest look at the industry trends. See, looking at the industry trends, I understand that Python is something which is on boom. Java is good when it comes to, of my knowledge, Java is has been good in the past, but somewhere somehow I don't see the indulgence of it lately to that much of a degree. Anyone who's listening and feels that the information is incorrect, please feel to correct me or post in your comments, because again, I will have very marginal knowledge about this particular thing, so I'd rather not make any other comments.
Yeah, so just that, just to add, Java is like, when you are a front end and back end developer, hardcore, back development you are doing. But Python is like very diverse. It's open source. You can use Python in data. Okay, when you talk about data, being a data scientist, data analyst, or business analyst, Python is like on top. Okay, so if you want to go into any of the data domain, even machine learning and data science, Python is your thing. Just a heads up. If data interests you, numbers interests you. All right. So moving on, I will give you a dual question, and you just have to pick one. Okay. So
Okay.
what this is about is I thought it will be interesting to put it this way. So you are the hiring manager, okay, and you have to hire a candidate for your company or team. What would you rather prefer? Okay, behavioral skills or overconfidence? I'm not sure I'm using the words correctly, but just,
When you say
you know,
overconfidence, what?
audience.
When you say, you mean to say the person is full of confidence? Is that what you're saying?
Full of confidence, talking too much about my knowledge, me. It's not
I would never have that
pleasant to
person.
see.
I would never hire that person.
No.
There's a reason. No, and there's a reason why. When a person is so full by himself, there is nothing left to imbibe. Because once if I'm hiring somebody, see, each and every office, each and every workplace has their own set of trainings, have their own set of deliverables which they need to learn, whether or not whether they are 25 years experienced or they have only 1 year of experience. Every organization has certain points. If nothing, at least the policies. If nothing, at least the policies. So what happens here is that if this person is not, or he is so full with his own self, where will I actually go back and put the training in, or how will I train him? What is the skill which I'll imbibe in him, right? If he is all about me, but at the same time, if this guy would have used the term we or us, I would give it a thought. Why? Because now he's talking about a teamwork, collaboration. When the moment he switches from I to we, I know what is it to pick up.
I know a manager is speaking right now, right? I know. We
But
have to
then,
do this, right?
but then see, understand, it's all about learning, Nikita. At the end of the day, if we are not able to kind of go back and justify the fact that we have to work in a team, uh, there would be people of all possible different level of knowledge, different levels of understanding of things, different ease of working, understanding skills and all these things, right? And if amongst these particular things a trainer, see, understand, it actually becomes hard for the trainer or the manager to kind of deal with such people, right? If Because tomorrow if I have to go back and give him a feedback to improve the business, right, it might be coming from his own work, I would have a lot of problem in actually making this guy accept that feedback. Why? Because as per this person, he is all in all, or he is perfect, right? And that will actually affect, or that will actually hurt the overall process of learning and unlearning. You got to unlearn and learn a lot of things to be a part of an organization.
Okay. Next thing, um, interpersonal skills, technical skills, provided
Inter-
uh,
Mhm.
both are at the same, set of mind. And maybe what should I put forward? The one person, the technical person, he is not good at soft skills, and the other person, who I'm calling interpersonal, he is not very well, advanced with technologies and stuff, but he knows how to behave, how to cope up with things. He's trainable. What would
Hmm.
you rather prefer?
To me, I would actually hire. To me, and this is what I've done in the past as well. I'll actually hire both. The reason being, all I need to give them is training, right? So the ones who is trained on soft skills, right, but needs knowledge on technical skills, I can train him within 4 weeks to 8 weeks time, and I can put him in production. The person who's very good with technology, I can train him on soft skills within probably a longer time span. Let's say from 2 months, I can take it to 4 months, or let's say 3 months, which is a standard training period for all the organizations, or even 6 months in terms of your probation period. So if he is able to hone up his skills within 6 months of time, I am okay to have him on board with me, because soft skills and technical skills both can be trained, but soft skills takes a longer time. One thing which I will check is the intent, his intention of working over there, his intention to learn. If his intent is good, I'm fine with taking him any day, any both of these folks.
Okay, that is interesting. Okay, one more thing. A person from a tier 3 college, okay, but highly skilled, or a person with tier 2, tier 1 college, would you rather go for the college tag or the person having those qualities?
If you ask me, I would actually go with the qualities in the first place, obviously. See, I'll tell you something. College tax. I think we had this discussion like not long ago as well. See, the tier one cities and the colleges which you're talking about, the tier one we are talking about. See, what is the difference in the way they are taught to what we have been doing, right? They experience a lot of things practically. Okay, they do get other skills, trainings as well, right? Which is something which we can discuss in another kind of probably a different day, because there is a lot to talk about things. But my first preference will always be the skills, the ready skills I have. Just because the person is from an IIT does not mean that he will suffice my career requirement. What if that same person will need 6 months to get trained to join my business, wherein I have one person whom I can train within 1 month and take him into my business? I would rather go with the 1 month guy rather than going with the 6 months person. Maybe just because he is from a tier one college, it does not change anything in terms of skills. But there are other things which companies do take into consideration. There are some companies which do prefer things, but then that's a completely different story which we can discuss probably later on.
Okay. So according to you, we are just focusing on, a general mindset. So if you have a position, okay, to fill, and you have a fresher candidate who has just around 1 to 1.5 years of experience, but he is able to answer and get through all of your interview process, and the one who is like 3 to 4 years of experienced person, but he is like not that up to the mark, who would you rather prefer?
And this has actually happened pretty lately, not that long ago. Probably like within, let's say, past 2 years, I've had many such experiences Wherein I see that in my team, I have people who have very less experience in terms of number of years, but they're doing an amazing job. In fact, we have team members who are working right now who have just joined our business, not more than 3 years, and they are doing exceptionally well than people who have already been here for the last 3 years.
I have my
So,
answer.
yeah.
Yes. So my last question in this, what would you rather prefer?
Mhm.
Um, CGPA, SGPA. Okay. So I have some backlogs which I cleared during my engineering, but I just completed it somehow. Mercy, mercy.
Mhm.
Then there is one person who has constant been like a 9 pointer, but he is not
Mhm.
that great, and he could not make it to your interview process that much, that well, basically. So you have like
Mhm.
two people in the end, okay, whom you are interviewing for the last stage. Who would you rather prefer? Would you reject that backlog person?
I would not. I had 11 backlogs when I was in the fifth semester. I wrote 16 papers and cleared all. So I think that gives
Okay.
you my answer. It's backlogs. See, I'll tell you something. Marks probably yes, final year. If he is on a final year stream, and he see organizations need a graduate or an undergraduate thing. I'll tell you, and there's a very good example over here as well, right? In this, and it's somewhere in the same lines. I had a friend who had, a part of one of the organizations which I was working in. That person could not, there was one subject which that person was not able to clear. Okay, whatever the reason is, and that person got hired as an undergraduate. Okay, so we have places, we have companies who even hire undergraduates. At the same time, backlog. See, clearing the backlog is important so that when the company is coming to hire, or why do the companies prefer you or ask you to clear your complete background, is because once they have hired you, they don't actually want to wait on you to come and join. Right? That's the only reason. They're not questioning your skills as to you are a fool because you're not able to kind of clear your exams. No, that's not what they're looking at. Their point is that if I have a backlog existing, what if? What if I'm not able to clear that? And what if my onboarding procedure takes a longer time? Most of the companies or most of the HRs which whom I have spoken to are of this particular what do you call it mindset. That if I am not okay, this guys, if I, let's say I'm supposed to join in April, March is when my results come out. I got hired in January. Okay, I feel that by March all my backlog should clear. That's the reason why I have an offer letter of a company which tells me that I can join in April. So the company has reserved for me all the resources which should be given to a new hire, his seat, everything for April 1st. And if in on March 31st I report that I have not cleared and I'll not be able to join, that's a loss for the company. People don't usually understand this, but yeah, it's a loss for the company. It's a loss because why? They have acquired, they have gone back and gotten your resources, your laptops, your desktops, your mobile phones, your seating. They've arranged for your seating, they've arranged for your training, they've arranged the training resources, they've arranged a trainer. All these things involve cost. And companies do not hire a person with backlog not basis on his skills, but on the basis of these particular things. If I hire somebody who has a
Indeed.
backlog, I'm not sure if he will join or not. And if he doesn't join, I'm wasting a resource which I could have actually given out to some person, some other guy who would be
Mhm.
ready to join by. That's where the difference is.
Exactly. Yeah, and indeed, interview process is very expensive, not just in terms of cost, also the money, resources that they have put in, right?
Yeah, understand. So let alone anything
Time,
else.
time.
It's about the effort. For me, if I when I was working over here in Delhi, I had to travel all the way to Ranchi to Jharkhand to kind of take a couple of interviews. Me going there in itself takes a lot of time. I'm losing, you know, two things. One, I'm losing a day to myself. I'm traveling. I'll be fatigued. Then I have to take an interview. I'm losing the entire day dealing with a group of people, narrowing down people stage by stage, step by step. that involves a lot of human efforts as well, and that's what we are paid for, right? At the end of the day.
Exactly. So one last question, if there are no further questions at all, we have what qualities will you both see if you have to give referral to a person? Well, I just give
Referral
referral.
referral to a person. I think the three questions which Nikita asked one by one. Would you rather prefer? The answers which I gave to those particular questions. That is what I'll be looking at. Number one, is this person good enough to, has the basic skills to join immediately, right? Because referral here, when you're referring, you got to be really sure about the person whom you're referring. Why? Because it's your goodwill also which is at stake. You can't just haphazardly go back and refer somebody, right? So there's an interesting story behind this. In Delhi, the company which I was working with, and the very first company which I was working with, that company had a very, very good referral policy, a very handsome referral policy. If I am able to get three people, I get goodies, and I get goodies in thousands of rupees. So people, it is a very lucrative offer of doing that. Okay, so we would go back and try getting, people to, okay, let me get this person. Okay, I was always on a lookout कि हाँ कोई मिल गया तो उसको refer कर देंगे. But I think probably when we started doing that, we were educated about it. We were given the technicality behind the hiring procedures. We were given the technicality behind how does the referral function, because there is a lot of steps involved in there. And when that is, those things were sorted, is when I could understand. Okay, referral procedure is also something of a value add. So I believe, yeah, when I'm referring a person, I would do a basic interview with him. This is what I do. If I am told to refer somebody, I'd speak to him personally. I don't go by his resume. And if you don't know the person, if I know the person, then I can go back and take some risk. If I don't know the person, I would never go with the resume. I would actually speak to him. I get to know a lot of things while speaking to those particular people, that they have given a reference, but they not might be looking for a job immediately. So they've given a referral. Somebody might have an offer in hand and they've given a referral. If I go and
Okay.
refer this person, if I go and refer this person, he will get hired, probably because of my goodwill, or probably they might just go back and ignore a couple of factors, and then they might just hire. I'm not saying they do, but let's say they hired somebody. This guy got the offer letter. What if he doesn't join? Again, the same thing, just like the interview, right? I spoiled another person's, entry over there. I actually blocked another person's entry over there, which is not something desirable. I, as a person, would never take that. And I'm very particular
Awesome.
about all these things when it comes to, hiring and all.
That's insightful. I never thought it that way, honestly telling you, because I just feel that if somebody needs help, okay, let's do that.
But then,
Uh,
help,
of
does he
course, I will
genuinely
look
need
at
it?
their profile.
So, Nikita, there's one pointer. Okay, if this guy is open enough to seek help from you, he might have gone back and sought help from three different people.
Absolutely. But what I would check is basically the background thing, their LinkedIn profile, their resume, if it sounds relevant to me, and also the last company and how many years they have served it for, because it is important to check. Because if a person is just leaving the last company in like 2-3 months, then you need to question why.
Yeah, yeah, and as I said, right, when you speak to this person, you come to know, like, when I spoke to one of the referee, or one somebody I was trying to refer, that person told me that he already has offer in hand. Okay, now that was a red flag for me. Although I had already referred that particular person, but that's a red flag. That if you already have a job in hand, why are you? Or if you already have a new offer in hand which you are supposed to join in 3 or 4 days time, or let's say 3 or 4 weeks time, why are you actually asking me to refer to some place? So either you take up the resource in my company, or you take up the resource in the company where you actually were hired previously. Choice is yours, right? But you are actually doing no good. You are actually spoiling the entire show.
Exactly. I see a lot of comments about this question. Basically, some people agree with the asking referral thing, and some people don't. So, I mean, it leads me to ask this question, because I think referrals work better than normal job application. Just go ahead and apply on any Naukri.com or LinkedIn, or you ask for a referral from any person who's already working. I think the second one works better. Referral works better.
What does referral do? Okay, so if I have to answer a question, I would answer it this way. What does a referral do is, see, a company when it hires, or when you are an employee of a company, the company imbibes some basic trust in you as their employee, right? They trust you as their employee. So they know that whatever you are bringing to the plate will be a value add to the company. Why? Because you have been serving in that company, and the company feels that whatever you do for the company will always be in benefit of that company, right? So when that is happening, that's where referral does not get any special treatment. The only thing referral does is referral actually highlights the resume. It speeds up the hiring process. If it was a person who were to walk into my company to get hired, he would have to submit his resume, or submit his resume to the career page, wait for a response. HRs might be receiving thousands and thousands of applications in a day, right? Um, they reply to some, they don't reply to some. Obviously, because they're humans at the end of the day, and it's not practically possible to reply to each and every email. Or let's say there are some places who deal with things with first come first serve basis. I am only up, so I have 13 posts, let's say, and I'm up only, expecting or I'm only inviting applications from 300 people, from which I'll choose 30. What if this person whom you're trying to refer is the 310th person to apply? His resume gets rejected from there itself. So this guy did not get a chance to get in. That's how referral works. So referral policies also, if you go back and look at the referral policies, the first thing which they say is, please do a pre-check in terms of understanding whether the person is a good fit or not. If he's not, please don't refer him. Don't refer for the sake of referring. See, what do we do? On LinkedIn lately, we have been seeing a lot of posts about this, right? Unfortunately, a lot of our friends, a lot of unknown people, a lot of our connections, not being anymore with their jobs. They lost their jobs due to the pandemic. They're striving really hard to find jobs over here. They are posting their resumes, posting their comments on LinkedIn, right? What are we doing? We are actually commenting and liking those, reacting those particular posts, so that it can get a wider audience. How many are we referring? How many are we referring? We might have hardly referred one or two, just because we found that it's something he has been doing is in line with what my company does. I will
Yes.
not refer a person from a bank into a core IT engineering company, and vice versa. All I can do is I can bump the post, I can push the post forward. I can give it a wider audience. So referrals do require a pre-check. If somebody is doing it without a pre-check, I think it's high time you start doing it. Speak to the person, see if that person will actually honor, if he actually gets hired, he or she actually gets hired, will that person actually honor that particular thing? Because ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि हायर होने के 2 दिन बाद बोलता है भाई मैंने ज्वाइन नहीं किया, I didn't want to join the company, or I got a better offer so I'm leaving. It actually hurts your goodwill. It does, trust me. उसके बाद आप किसी और को भी रेफर करने से पहले you will think twice whether you would do that or not. That actually becomes, puts a question mark on the whole process, which is something which I'm sure nobody would like.
Yes. Again, a lot of time, energy, efforts went into hiring that person.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. That's insightful. Okay. So this brings us to the end of this session. And yeah, it's been like 1 hour 40 minutes. People have been listening to us patiently, and you have been answering to all of my queries so patiently. So thank you for
That's
that.
fine. I like interacting with people, especially when we see people coming from different walks of life whom we have interacted at one point or the other. It does really feel good to kind of, and it's like I'm a believer, and we've always been a believer of the fact that it's a learning group. We are always a learning group. We never stop learning. It's about gathering experiences from multiple places and applying it to good use. So I think, it's if it is anything more, it is my pleasure in kind of being a part and getting to interact with a lot of people, because these builds connections, right? And once you have a set of connections built, it gives us a better hold and a better command over things, and it actually gives you a push to improve yourself, make yourself a better version, right? And at the end of the day, that's what we all are striving. We are all striving for improvement. So, thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you for patiently listening to me ranting, blabbering. For anything, I think Nikita has already put down my social media credentials. Please feel free to connect with me, and I'll be more than happy to connect and talk to each and every one of you.
Yes. Just to give a heads up, you can always go comment on the video, comment down on the video. It will always be available for future reference too, because it's a lot of information you guys should refer in future too. So Abhimanyu, to your question, how he got hired and how he went into the paths and careers and changed varieties of careers. He has explained it everything. So just watch this video from the beginning, and that will answer all your questions. Thanks,
And
guys. So
probably
I think
yeah, and as probably I think Abhimanyu is asking about the total, the career jalebi which I have. He knows about it. So yeah, we would rather discuss that on a different day, Abhimanyu.
exactly. All right. So with that, we are wrapping this up. Thank you so much again to all the viewers and to you, sir. So it was like
Thank you so much.
complete pleasure hosting you. Completely
And
informative session,
it's a
and
pleasure to be
we'll
a
love
part.
to have you again.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, guys.